Hello guys, and welcome to my thoughts about the balance changes in Valor's End. It's not gonna be a too long video, just like going over the main ones. I don't really care about cosmetics and whatnot, so let's just start with the balance. The Atlas change is kind of a welcome one because people might think that it's a nerf because they are nerfing the damage, but this change is actually huge because you can actually shoot people from a higher range with the old fire rate that your first shooting stance allowed. Because before that, when you had 4 shooting ranges, you had to stand like here in order to not miss a shot or something. But now you can go like this and still hit everything. So it's really great. And the fire rate, like it was like this before, and now it's much faster because you don't need to hold the button down and whatnot. So this is actually a buff. Caspian, I like the change that they removed. I mean, reduced the ammo cost of his left click, but apart from that, he became a bit OP again because the stacks are now really getting his attack speed up. Like if you're getting your stacks up, you're shooting very fast. And also he now has again a deadly combo. For example, you just press right, so you know you shoot this orb, and then you just press right click once, and now you can kill someone like this fast. This is ridiculous in my opinion, but anyway, this is good that they changed this, but this cap is a bit slow still. This should be much higher still. Evie is whatever. If you had ears, then you could really just have a good guess where she came from, so it's whatever. They tried to increase her base health as well to compensate for this, but it was nonsense because the reason she has low HP is because she's very mobile and can force to have some defensive resources between her shots, so it's not like whatever Shaolin where you just stand in one place and shoot, but Evie actually can block and soar and blink and whatnot, so she can avoid quite a lot of damage, so her HP increase is quite unnecessary. Furia Cherish, you like it or not, it's up to you, but the old Cherish was busted, in my opinion. So what really caught my attention with Exterminate is that I went into the shooting range and I thought that the Exterminate is really strong, like the new effect, and that's because now let's say she shoots 2 bullets per second without breath or anything, which means 1 bullet is shot every 0.5 seconds. That's nothing is out of ordinary here. Let's say she shoots 2 bullets when she is constantly firing under 1 second. And when you use breath, they don't go like, oh, you need 30% attack speed, so you shoot 1.3. No, they say that instead of 1, you go down to 0.7, which actually means that your attack speed is 42% higher. And now with Exterminate, you from 1 you go down to 0.55 because it's like 1 minus 0.45, which means that your attack speed is 82% higher than your basic attack speed. And you can test it out for yourself, it's like that. I tested it already, and I think it's just strong. With Imani, it's a nice change that you can actually see your mana rift now pretty well. This is such a nice range visually, and even if you step out, you get the little lingering effect, so you have a like a split second to set up your new mana rift if you wish to not move for too much. But this visual effect is very standard and Paladins like, and I really love it. I agree very much with these changes on Inara because I guess you could feel it even in your own matches that she was a bit overtuned with Mother's Grace right now. And even though they reduce the duration, it's whatever. That duration is not gonna hurt you too much because you can see how long you can keep up Earthen Guard. And if you go out of Earthen Guard, you can still pop your Warder's Field. And if you have a loadout which makes you switch between both of these, you have like 2 seconds downtime when you can take damage. You can just pop your wall or whatever in the meantime. Basically, you know, you just need damage on the warder's field, and then you can go for cooldown reduction and a bit of ammo and whatever. It's up to you, the filler cards, and you can rotate between the two abilities pretty well. So it's whatever. You have 2 seconds between the two cooldowns, and that's all. You are in constant 25-30 damage reduction. So Inara is still very OP in my eyes, but it's whatever. I still like the cripple talent more, but it is what it is. Right, so Io is an interesting one because Luna basically got a buff that is good stuff for her, and you can still get both of the healing from her healing other targets and Luna healing you as well. So you can get quite a high HP per second, especially if you have restored fate as well. You have a very good sustain for yourself. So with Kasumi the changes are very welcome, most of them are very good. Her aiming needs still a bit of polishing because, you know, even when you would hit someone you can still miss it, and if you would miss someone you can still hit someone. So it's like a delayed hit scan type of weapon, and it's weird. It's not a projectile, it's a delayed hit scan. It's a bit janky. I like that they gave her 2 abilities, I mean 2 ways to actually curse people now. One is the doll that applies curses instantly, and the other is the yokai, or whatever your right click is, the savage tier. So now she has 2 different ways to curse enemies, which she was really lacking before. The port was, I didn't really like it, and like, it's whatever. Like, you can use either savage tier to curse enemies or to deal damage, up to you, but I like to curse it, to use it to curse people. I think it's a bit more effective that way, but it's whatever, and then you don't need to waste points on the increased stack damage, because this way you get your max damage up real quickly, like up to 600 per stab, and this way you're missing out on a lot of damage by the time you get to 5 stacks. So I just like to use it to put the stacking on people. But in overall they did a good job with Kasumi. If you want you can try her, but I'm still not gonna play her. The recursing is a bit non-existent because you need to use an ability to do that, but you have 2 abilities, so it's whatever. And the aiming system, I don't really like it. It's like if you're missing on the stacks you cannot do really damage, so it's whatever. It's too much dependent on the curses, so I don't like it still. Anyway, modern boys, whatever. Nyx, well, they try to reduce the slow potency, but still if you have a bit of cards invested in it, like plus 15%, then they still really cannot move that fast. Like your speed is almost twice as theirs, so it's whatever. Like they reduced it a bit, but with cards you can still have it on a very good amount. Octavia change is a welcome one. Raise whatever. With Ceres the only thing I don't like is that you have this card, Fade to Black, and it still activates when F is not on cooldown. You see, you're not getting the cooldown reduction because it's already on cooldown, but it's whatever. But if you're in stat, you're getting the cooldown reduction right when you come out of stat. Yeah, Status is visible, it's still a bug I guess, so they are working on it as far as I know. So yeah, you can have a bit of play around with the cards, with if you want selfie or whatever, or if you want an extreme amount of cooldown reduction on shadow travel, like this, and then whenever you come out you have it, you should have it already, yeah. And by the time you're going into shadow travel you can use that time to heal as well, so like this. You don't need to wait for it to finish. The only bad thing is that after that you might not have the cooldown just yet. I don't know. So it's whatever. As you can see, you come out of stat and you have it already again. So it's like a pretty good deal. But this is just to help yourself to stay alive. If your targets or teammates are in a bad position, you can still reach them. It's a good combo overall that you can heal while in stat, but obviously it opens up other type of plays as well, not just this heal but play style. So it's a good change overall. I like it. Sati is I have no words. Like, just look at this. The point of abilities is to help you out, right? And her DPS is 530 per shot, but if you use the coin, it becomes 600 per shot. Of course there is a downtime until you launch a coin and whatever, but the thing is that it automatically targets the lowest HP opponent, no, not the lowest HP, the lowest percentage opponents, which is a bit sad because tanks are getting like one shot and then the coin will target them over like people who have 2k HP altogether, but it is what it is. The thing is that that it goes behind walls and whatever, they target low people, so, and it increases your DPS if you can shoot 2 targets with it. So I really think they went over a little bit with this change, but for example the ultimate change is a welcome one, that you can keep the coin and not explode it. It's a bit strong, but it's a good change, I think. And this way you can also negate your distance to the opponents, because from here, let's say you do half the damage, but if you shoot out a coin you have the full damage, or at least a bit more. So it's whatever. I think they buffed Sati quite a bit with this change, but I don't know. I know that I will be using this talent for Sati. Skies, whatever, you like it or not, it's a nerf. This one is whatever. With 7, they really hurt his mobility by nerfing this card. Even with Chronos 3 you have to wait like 2 seconds to use it again. We know how 7 was before. I think it's a good change by default. If you really want to invest, you can still invest in Chronos to not suffer for too much, because like 2 seconds is whatever after a hook. You still use 2 movement abilities and you need a third one in 2 seconds. Well, you can wait for 2 seconds. The thing about automatic and burst is that burst is weaker than automatic now, because you have a really high DPS with automatic. And I'm not gonna go into debate about controller and whatever. With automatic you don't have that much range, and with burst you do have a bit more range. So if you're engaging from a bit higher range, I would say that use burst instead of automatic, because it drops in its damage fall off is quite big, and you almost deal the highest amount of damage with burst from this range as well. Also the change on the weapon modes is a bit okay. Like, you can pretty much just use some nice combos. If you're an old Magdom fan, for example, you can just you cannot use Magdom from range, you know that, right? Because it doesn't deal too much damage and its thread is high. So you can use whatever tactic, like to have a burst, shot at them, switch to Magdump, roll to them and just finish them off. I'll show this in quick motion as well. So shoot, change, roll, boom, dead. It's a good one, I think. I'm not gonna really use it because, of course, who knows that if you're rolling to somewhere suddenly they are not gonna shoot everybody at you and you might instantly die. But it's just a a good tactic to do with 7. I really like it. If you want, you can put ammo on whatever, you can put some ammo on the switch, so even after you roll, you shoot, but they are still not dead, you can finish them off with some automatic shots, it's whatever. It's a really nice change that the weapon stance changes much faster. Vivian is good because of this. I'm not sure if this was necessary, but it's whatever, it's 150, it's okay. This is a good change for Vivian. The thing I really like that they increased the illusion count, it helps exchange the most, obviously, because I don't think it needs explanation why. And I saw people saying, oh, but you need to invest in whatever for the illusions to stay alive long enough so you can force all 3 of them. Yeah, true, you need to do that. You need to have some points in carrion, you need some shatter cooldown, and I like spin beam as well. And yeah, basically your whole loadout is tied, but your healing output will be really good. And also it's not like you could go for many more like useful stuff with Ink, to be honest, if you're a healer in your loadout. Like, of course you can go HP or whatever, but those are boring. So your hands are really tied. But what I like the most is that they increased also the illusions HP, which means that with resonance you're gonna have much more fun. Not only because they can reach your target more safely before they detonate. People were like, oh, you need rewind and it's gonna have more HP and what? Shut up. The point is that you can take on duels much better because you can pop a clone in front of you, and by the time it dies, because it has much more HP than before, you can just pop down a new one. So basically they cannot really kill you anymore. And who even cares for 3 illusions? You're not gonna press resonance like once every 12 seconds. Maybe if you're porting all around, then you might not have still 3 illusions to shatter, you see, it's just like 2. So it's whatever. And this is what it is. It's a buff for Ring, you like it or hate it, it's up to you. Right, so that's all, plus one extra thought about Omen is that, you know, he has this more card which increases your damage. I guess based on your experience you could already tell that you shouldn't run it on 5. Like 3 is a good amount, that you have 4 cards plus you can buy Deft Hands and whatever. But usually I dislike these type of cards that increase your base damage and whatnot. It's whatever, especially because you have access to cards like coming and so it's like whatever, even if they don't die, you can just pop down this and then you have much more damage. So I don't really enjoy this card, that it exists. It doesn't mean that I don't use it, it means that I hate the fact that it exists. And also it can alter your playstyle, because you know everybody has like X damage, X defense. If you go more, you should probably buy defense. If you don't go more, you have something else. You can have like shield or whatever HP, and then you can even buy more defensive items, so you're even more tanky. And then you're missing out like 120 extra damage per shot. The difference between the two is that the amount of time it takes you to buy this stuff. For example, if you go this, if the opponent cannot get to you and you can shoot freely, it means that you will deal more damage overall than your teammates or your other self, which would have both defensive cards and items, right? Here you have more damage, you buy an offensive item, and you have less HP or defense in whatever to compensate. But usually champions don't have this, that they can alter their main damage to deal more of them. it's so weird. Like, yeah, this way you're a glass cannon a bit, but if they cannot get to you, then it's good for you, because you can dash out a lot of damage. Another thought about Imani as well. For example, some people say, oh, Mana Rift is bad, let's go splitting guys, because, oh, you must stand in one place and whatever. But what they don't realize is it's gonna just do like this and get like 1.3k DPS or a bit more, and like that's their whole playstyle. Wow, so interesting. And instead you can go for Mana Rift and like I don't know, like start every duel you make with a 2k possible damage to their face, or even if you don't finish them, like with, for example, with Fernando, you can just melt them even more and then finish them off with the fireball again. Or even if you waste your frost bomb, then just boom boom and they are dead already, and now you can have 2k again and then have this again and whatnot. So it's like, man, just have some creativity when it comes to a champion's playstyle. Probably I think I don't have any more to say now. Sorry for not releasing any Paladins videos nowadays. Life got in the way quite a bit, but thank you very much for watching though, and we'll see you whenever I will have the time to upload more. So goodbye, have a good one.